Another supplemental video to Kaiten Nage as a Kihon 101 video. What we have to understand is that spiraling cross again, okay? And I'm gonna demonstrate it by several means here, okay? And it is gonna require that uke has to learn to roll differently than the contemporary uke rules today. Because we are not doing an acceleration throw. We're doing the same thing we always do with this cross, which is to deconstruct uke's ability to remain upright so that gravity can work upon him. And then that way, we are throwing uke doesn't decide to undo their own base of support, their own equilibrium, etc. We are deconstructing the elements necessary for them to remain upright, and hence we are throwing them, okay? As I've discussed with some people, even though most uke today feel like they've been thrown, they haven't been, because they've never had this base of support entirely deconstructed. And so they always have some sense of control that they maintain as they're, in air quotes here, being thrown. So when you first try this with your uke, you're gonna freak the hell out of them, because it's the first time they've actually been thrown, okay? There is a spiritual reason for why we deconstruct this base of support. So of course, obviously, there's an easy to see tactical reason. But there is a spiritual reason in that uke, we have now brought fear and its self-attachment, its manifestation of self-attachment into the training. And so deconstructing uke's base is the catalyst for reconciling fear, because fear has been brought in, because all control has been taken away. Control, the need for control, the reliance for control, all that is fear. But there's also, in the way that we deconstruct the base through that spiraling, rotating cross. And as we've already said multiple times, this is an easy way to understand a reconciliation between yin and yang, and thereby a return to the Tao. That is the energetic component. Today, we're going to take off the spiritual aspect, but just be aware of it when you throw your uke like this for the first time. They're going to freak out. They're not going to like it. And then we're going to take off the energetic aspect as well, so that we just understand it physically, okay? If you have, in simple terms, let's say this is the head of uke, and they're going to be taken into that front inward kazushi, which I'll demonstrate again for those that haven't heard me use that term. What we're going to do, everything happens on a spiral, everything's rotating, is this lever here is uke's spine. And we're going to take the top part of that spine and make it go this way. And we're going to take the bottom half of that spine and make it go this way. Okay, everyone goes, okay, cool, spiral, circle. But the way that we're going to do this is with that X pattern that we've demonstrated all the time. We're going to do a kokyu projection right through uke's tanden. Okay? And that's going to be your yang line and your kokyu line. And here at the head, this is your yin line. And this is accomplished through an Aiki adhesion. Okay? When we do this, you're going to imagine somewhere, if you will, Uke's planted foot, we're only going to give him one, is somewhere, I don't know, somewhere in this region. Okay? And it's not too far outside of the spine. So if Nage is over here, the foot is somewhere around here. Okay? So let's return to basic angle of disturbance concepts. Okay? So we have to know the line of gravity. We have to know the center of gravity. And we have to know the base of support at a minimum. And this line of gravity is a theoretical line drawn from the center of gravity perpendicular to, in this case, the earth. And as long as that line of gravity is inside the base of support, Uke will have balance. We'll have, it's going to be a dynamic equilibrium, but it's equilibrium nonetheless. And I would put before you, there is no equilibrium that is not a dynamic equilibrium for human beings. Okay? Base of support is that foot, only in this case. Okay? So if that line of gravity is over that foot, Uke is going to have a sense of control, and they can decide how they want to roll, when they want to roll ultimately, okay? What we're going to do instead is we're going to send this thing one way and this thing another way, so that the line of gravity is going to be outside the base of support, and the base of support can never be put back underneath that line of gravity. That is what I mean by deconstructing balance here, okay? And I'll show you what that looks like now with specifics, okay? Okay, so if we look at yesterday, in those variations of Kaiten Nage, Uke was in that 3-point stance. So go ahead and go back into that 3-point stance, okay? And you can put your hand on the ground because you would have that available, okay? And so his base of support, let me identify it. It's going to be this hand, this foot, that foot, and then all the area shaded in. And then you'd find his center of gravity is probably somewhere around here in the middle of his body. And then the line of gravity would travel theoretically down through that center of gravity. And you would find, I'll kind of superimpose this, but it's here, that it's inside his base of support, and hence he remains balanced, okay? To show you how this is working and staying with last night's information, if I was, I guess you're walking this side, showing the omote mechanics. When I take this arm this way, that line of gravity will move up his body as the center of gravity moves up his body as you start to lower the head. Do you see? Can you guys see that? So that line of gravity that was here, as I start to move, it starts to come forward, and eventually it's going to fall outside that hand, and that's what takes his balance. You come back. And staying with yesterday's example again, moving his hand this way, in yesterday's example, moving it this way, would have to take that center of gravity, and thus the line of gravity, outside of that foot in order for him to fall. And you can see, no, it's not going to work, okay? But this doesn't take any effort here. I'll give you another example at the theoretical level. He's down. Center of gravity is somewhere around here. Line of gravity is somewhere straight down around here. It's inside his base of support. If I push him backwards, that center of gravity is going towards his tailbone, and eventually the line of gravity will end up outside of the base of support and he will fall. And again, we're just looking at it conceptually. I don't want to introduce new material right now, so everything is static, okay? All right. In the throw that you saw in my Kaiten Nage videos, due to the inertial patterns that we end up using, we never put the guy in a three-point stance, okay? So he has one leg on the ground, you see? He's gonna be somewhere like this, okay? And if you don't mind, come here so he can balance off of you. There you go, okay? And so the same thing, the base of support is this foot. Because he's gonna be flying, that hand's not going to be on the mat because he's in an inertial spiral. So the base of support in this case is just the foot. As you see him kind of tilted this way, the center of gravity is somewhere around here. You draw that line of gravity, it's over the foot, and you can hang out here. So you can let go and use your balance. As long as it keeps his center of gravity over his foot, the line of gravity is in his base of support, and he has balance, okay? And back. So we have to apply the same rules. So he's going to go back there. Or you can use me for balance now just so he can talk. What I'm going to do with that Kokyu line, the yang line, is take that center of gravity and move it further to his right. In fact, with a Kokyu projection, I'm going to move it so far past his outer edge of this base of support that he has to fall, because it's going to be, that line of gravity is outside his base of support. So I will not do a Kokyu projection here, I'll just do a force vector, and you can see what happens to him. When we add our adhesion, and we're moving his head this way, that's going to accentuate that Kokyu projection and the displacement of his line of gravity outside. So I'll just do a force vector pulling in and a force vector pushing out, and this happens much sooner. When you do the Kokyu projection, so these were just mechanical representations of the force lines. When you do a Kokyu projection, his center, boom, goes completely outside of that leg, and it's more something like this. And now that I projected his center outside of that base of support, usually it's about 6 inches to anywhere up to 2 feet if I feel like it, if anyone feels like it, okay? There's no way he can get that foot back underneath that line of gravity, and this is what guarantees that I'm throwing him and he doesn't get a choice. His only choice, again, is how does he land? That's his only choice, okay? Back to that spiritual component, and you don't even know how to do this, so you're going to have to listen to me, okay? You're going to have to roll like the Aikido 1 kids, where they kind of do a somersault going straight ahead and in that direction. Yeah, can I see if you can even do that? Just do a roll straight ahead. Okay, there we go. So in our dojo, that's incorrect, because he'll never be able to roll that way, okay? That makes sense if I accelerate him that way, then that roll makes perfect sense. But that's not what I'm doing. Okay? So you're going to try to do that. Got it? And give him some room there. I don't know where you want to be, okay? But I'm going to push and pull, and you're going to try to do your forward roll. It's impossible, okay? You see that? Okay, you're not going to be able to do that, okay? And we'll demonstrate it again. Let's see if you could get your foot underneath, back underneath you. So I'm going to send you that way. Use all your athleticism to just get your base back underneath you, okay? Good. And now, this is why you have to do both. So when I hold his head and I push here, it's much harder for him to do, okay? And then as you're able to project that line of gravity by projecting his hara completely out there, it becomes pretty much impossible for most, I'm sure there's a person out there that could do it, but it becomes pretty impossible. So you're gonna do that same thing where you get cool and you're here. Can't do it, okay? And that's what we're trying to achieve, okay? All right, we'll take that into a Kihon Waza. One thing I never do is, for example, in the common ones, is uke, I don't know, is supposed to be going that way, but usually people stop, right? So there's no spinal displacement. But at some point, and if I was able to do this, and we saw last night I'm not able to do this, so uke goes with me. Well, energy is now going that way, so now I'm going against the energy, okay? So I don't do that version anymore. As some of you know from my lineage, Shiba Sensei did do that version, but it doesn't make sense energetically, nor martially either, okay? So I want you to look at something that showed up yesterday. When you pin that foot, we showed that he could not step on that foot. That foot gets planted. But due to the inertia that kept going, the other leg stepped through. So that's what we're going to do here. Eventually, he's going to reach to grab, to start over, like I'm there. He's going to reach to grab. Okay. Slower. And when he reaches to grab, I lower that and I let that foot come through. I don't want to wait here. You could if you wanted, I guess, but it's not the way to do the technique. And start over. I don't want to be ahead of him. I have to have the timing so this thing will drop. And I have to move in a way that I clear the line with your attention, and this thing goes this way. And that hand is going to give you your kokyu hand. I'll do it again. Because there's nothing acting on the head, he should not do a roll. But you can see the line. Clear, boom, hop. If you pay attention, even in Suwari Waza, you use this all the time. So let's say I'm doing Ikkyo. I move him around. His shoulder passes me, and then the inward spiral will come in. Boom, boom. Only thing I'm doing different here is I don't do the inward spiral. One, kokyu. Let his shoulder pass you. Reject. Reject. Let's have you guys try this. See what he was. All right. So, stand by. Okay. So you're at where you're at, and there's nothing wrong with that. You're in the right place to stop being where you're at. Okay. But I want to demonstrate that spiritual aspect, okay? Because now they're falling into the void on the first yield, and then the Aiki adhesion is making them have to fall into the void, okay? So you have an inertial resistance to him getting off of that vector because it was generated per prescription, okay? But once he's on it, there's an inertial resistance. It's hard for him to go backwards, it's hard for him to pull out. And then there's an Aiki adhesion inside the grip that also adds resistance towards him getting off of that inertial resistance. And that's the first sign or the first experience he has that he's not in control. Something else, someone else is in control. And fear comes in as he's used to seeking control. Okay, it's a fear response. So we'll watch the two uke, and usually it shows up in a kind of seizing in here and trying to stop what's happening, okay? It shows up in the center. So we have two different levels of uke, and we'll start with Tristan, and Tristan is uke, and he is experienced in accepting the void, okay? Which is no self, no control, no need for control. And you can see his body, he goes. And we'll just keep going. Did you see the seizing that happened? Okay? And we're going to increase that void by making the ukes per prescription come in faster, and we'll see an elevated resistance towards it. So go. You can see it, okay. All right. Okay, all right, so my friend Ivan, that's what you were experiencing. It's very, very common, okay? That uke aren't used to it because most of our lives we live in fear and we're always seeking control over our environment, okay? All right, so we actually, that was in the kids class where we filmed earlier, then we did body conditioning, now we're in the adult class, and I don't remember where we left off. So we'll try to, I know it was somewhere around here to this part here, okay? I think, yeah? Okay. So if you pay attention, where I move, how I move, is going to be very much like when we were going over the conceptual breakdown. I'm kind of in this area. This is where I was able to pull the neck, and this is where I was able to project the hip. So you can't just be anywhere. And no conceptual understanding of how to deconstruct a base of support is going to put you in the right place, because that's a my problem. Okay? My. So you have to learn how to do that. Okay, let's try it. All right, so common mistakes. Common mistakes are that I wait to get the head, and he's going to come up already. So this hand, whoa, should go right onto the head as early as possible, and then the two start working the relationship to tilt him, okay? Another common mistake is you feel, his weight. You feel his weight, and so the kokyu hand follows the head this way, you see? So you're kind of doing like a somersault this way. No, you want the X pattern. And likewise, you feel the weight here, so you push this hand. You're gonna stand up. So remember, this comes this way, back this way towards me. Don't use it, the two to push. Boom. Boom, up. Boom, up. All right, let's try it. Okay, so your Aiki hand is gonna go in and down this way. Because it's a yin-yang world, your Kokyu hand is gonna go out and up. So it's this way, Kokyu, Aiki, this way. Don't do both. They do different things. You want a spiraling rotating cross. So boom, boom on that up hand. Next. Next thing, different uke do different things. So he might feel, oh, I'm being moved, and he'll let go. Get your hand off of it. There you go. So you were vectoring into the center. It's this way. So when he lets go, this hand goes here now. It does the same thing. Whoa, he lets go, just goes here. Okay? Did you get it?
No, since I.
All right, dude. Yeah, I think you gotta come on. I don't know. Figure out the angle. You're the photographer. So one, he lets go. It's right there on the hip. He doesn't let go though. Hey, he did. Don't let go like a good uke. So that I can continue to train my Kokyu projection. A good uke won't let go, but scared ukes do. Go to the hip. Again, there's that mind that you have to solve for, where you would be in a place granting all the inertia, where I can make this head go around me, and I can make this line of gravity go on the X. I gotta be in that right place, okay? So, usually again, and even here, right, we're too far out, and the head can't go around me now. We're trying to do the throws, okay? No matter what variation you're going to work, Soto, Uchi, Kido, Nagare, you have to end up in that same place for the Ura, okay? So I might do this version, and I gotta get right there again. There's the spot. You can go around me, I can project that way. While I do Uchi, I gotta end up in that spot again. Head can go around me, move where you are. Head can go around me, we're just gonna do it. Boom, I move myself in that same spot. Head can go around me, center can go across the headline. It doesn't matter if it's ski. I gotta do the same thing. There it is again. Back one step. He's coming forward. Boom. Same exact thing. I just end up there, no matter what variation you're doing. On the Ura, if you make a mistake and you're too far in front of it, and over here, this head's not going to go around me. That's where that Ura, the emote comes in. There's room for it now. You're too far ahead of it. So even if you do this one, it's not going to go around me, and that's where the emotes come in. Okay? You just have to do it while he's moving, not planted like that. All right, so I'll let you play with Ura and emote, any variation. Get yourself in the right mind.